I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Straight through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
Everywhere.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Fireflies Forever. We are glad that you are joining us this evening. And so I don't forget it, I'm doing this at the very beginning this time. If you don't mind, folks, drop us a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. We are glad that you are here. We would invite you to subscribe and be a part of the family. So, speaking of family, Chris, how's it going this week, man?
Good. I am still trying to catch up from my exhaustion from the weekend between doing stuff at my church for it being Easter and then all of WrestleMania stuff. I got pretty wore out this weekend. I was going nonstop, and yeah, I still feel like I'm trying to play catch up.
Yeah, you had a lot going on, man. Busy weekend. There was a lot going on.
I hope they don't ever have Mania on Easter again. It's a little too much for me.
A little too much. Yeah, a little too much. Well, since you brought up Mania, let's talk about it. I know we were talking about it a little bit before we started, but just overall thoughts on Mania. What match was your favorite out of the 2 days, and just overall thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Mania was pretty good. I'm not like most of enjoyed most of the criticism of it. I thought that for the most part the builds were good, the stories were good, and I thought most of the matches were good. I definitely enjoyed it. Wasn't the best Mania ever, but it wasn't the worst Mania either ever. I thought it was pretty decent overall.
I agree. What was the match? Your match of the weekend?
Definitely Roman versus Punk versus Rollins. That match was definitely one of the best triple threats ever. I love how people beforehand were saying that match wasn't main event worthy because it didn't have a belt. Well, it showed that it didn't need one.
Right. Right. And I mean, I think too with that match, not only was it great from a wrestling standpoint, I think that gets lost in all of this.
Yeah.
But the storytelling, the twist and turn.
Oh yeah. I was so hopeful that he was going to go with Punk, and then I thought it was happening. I'm like, yes. And then when he hit him, I was like, no.
Yeah, man,
that was very invested.
yeah. And obviously, I think one of my favorite moments for the weekend was Jey Uso winning the title. Gunther, great champion. He's great. He's amazing. But it was Jay's time, and I think the crowd spoke to that.
Yeah.
And what about Dirty Dom Mysterio, man?
I said going into that match, I said any one of those four could win that belt. I like that aspect of it, that any one of them could have won that match, and I thought, there was a chance Dom could win it, and he sure did.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I enjoyed the weekend like you. Did I enjoy every single match? No. I thought it was good, though. I thought it was, a good build to it. It was a different build this year because of the timing. But I thought it was still good.
Yeah, I thought Raw after Mania last night was awesome.
Oh my gosh, Raw last night was tremendous.
Yeah.
I fell asleep on some of it, so I went back and caught up a little bit earlier, and man, it was really, really good. That's how you do the Raw.
Yeah. It's been disappointing some in years past. This was a good one.
Yeah, this was a good one. Yeah, hopefully this is a trend that continues because that show was hot from start to finish. So
Yeah.
quite literally after the credits. So
Yeah.
and during the credits. So yeah, hopefully hopefully you stuck around until the end, like you had a mid-credit scene, sorry. But
I
yeah,
know they put them up too early. I'm like, wait a minute, something's
yeah.
happening here.
They did. They put them up hecka early, man.
Yeah.
Last thing in terms of the weekend, and we're going to get to Rick's question here shortly before like once we get into the theories and discussion. So I'm gonna remember that comment there. So man, what did you think about Rusev returning last night?
Oh, love it. I've always loved Rusev. Very happy to see him back. Can't wait to see what they do with him. I hope he doesn't get lost in the mid card like Andrade has since they brought him back.
Yeah.
Really don't want to see. I don't want to say it for either one of them. But yeah, hopefully they do big things with him because he deserves it.
Yeah. And I think to your point, I completely agree on Andrade.
Yeah.
I think this AAA announcement might change some of that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, just all of a sudden, in the last year or two, WWE's really bolstered their luchadors now with the Lucha Brothers and Andrade coming back and all this. So yeah, I'm really hoping for good things with that.
Yeah. And just a small little geek out moment, seeing Vikingo in a WWE ring in 2025, even though he just came in to help out Rey Fenix. Seeing that.
Yeah. Well, he slapped El Grande Americano, so maybe they might be setting something up with that. That would be cool.
I would love it. And this is just to anyone who's never seen Vikingo, look him up on YouTube. Dude is amazing. And if you've watched TNA, I know a lot of folks come and join us on Thursdays for TNA, which this week is a full TNA week. We've got Thursday night, which is the go home show for Rebellion. Rebellion is on Sunday. So come join us for both of those. But if you've seen TNA, you've probably seen Vikingo. But if you haven't, go check him out. He's that awesome. He's that awesome. Welcome everyone into the chat. Glad you are all here. Thank you for those joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Clown says conspiracy theory is Andrade an afterthought now that he isn't Mrs. Flair. That I don't doubt anything these days. Anything can be
I feel like he was already flipping into non-existence even before that happened, though. But
yeah, he was definitely in obscurity before that, for sure. I mean, and I know a lot of people criticize AEW about this, but you gotta be fair. WWE has done a great job when bringing people back in of making them look like $1 million when they return. And then 2 to 3 months later, you're like, wait, what's so-and-so doing now? Or
yeah,
what,
they did that
why
great
haven't
series of matches with him and Carmelo Hayes, and it looked like he might be in the U.S. title picture, and then he just disappeared.
Yeah. So hopefully that changes real soon. There are quite a few people that I hope start to get more of a push.
Speaking of that, and it seems like we're starting to see it. My goodness, am I hoping for a Karrion Kross push right now? Did you see that promo that he cut?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Talk about a pipe bomb.
and the beauty of it, and I think Punk has said it, and I know Cena said it, the beauty of a promo and the power that it can have when it's real, when it's based on realism.
Yep.
And your own thoughts and feelings. I mean, that man, like, and then seeing him on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people were like, man, I hope he didn't screw anything. No. If he had, you wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah.
They just would
Oh,
have cut
I
that.
think they're leaning into it. The fact that you saw him smiling when New Day walked by, it's like, look, you listen to him. Look what happens. Look what happened to AJ. He didn't listen.
Yep. Absolutely. So, hey, John G. Yeah, it's, man, that was,
even the shirt he was wearing had little puppet strings and stuff.
Yep.
It's so great.
Yep. And I thought it was interesting at the end. He said, "This is Killer Cross."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are we going to lean into that now? I hope so.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
Deanna saying it's the shiny new toy syndrome. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of companies are guilty of it, but it's definitely been glaring with Andrade, and hopefully that doesn't happen though with others that they've recently brought in, like Penta and Ray Phoenix and Rusev and Malachi or Alistair, whatever he's going to be, whoever he's going to be.
It feels like they bring all these people in, and then people start to get lost, and then here in another month or two we'll get a bunch of cuts because they figured out, oh yeah, we can't do anything with all this talent.
Right. And it's like, what are you doing? Are you signing people to be like, got you, other company, or are you doing it because you have a genuine spot for them?
Right.
I think we can ask that question of both AEW and WWE.
Yeah. And with 6 hours of main roster TV time a week, I feel like you can fit quite a few people in.
Yeah, I mean, plus, that's if they're still doing speed, and then the Evolve or whatever it's called. I mean, there's so much that they can get done. So yeah. John, we're good, man. Hope you are. All right, man. So as we do every week, we go into memories, and Chris has a video for us this week, and I'll have him set that up, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Yeah, so I figured coming off of Mania weekend, watch a little fun little video from Mania right before Mania last year, when Jodie and Harper and Logan made a little video tribute to Cody, and we're hoping that he finished the story. And obviously, we did see him finish the story. So fun little thing to go look back on.
All right, here we go.
Hi, Cody. We just wanted to tell you how much of big fans we are, and I want to meet you someday, like really bad. Also, I really hope you win against Roman Reigns. Ready? Finish your story!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember that video. That's awesome. Man, yeah. Well, that's since Cody was mentioned.
Yep.
What do you think about Cena getting number 17?
Oh, I'm not happy about it. I'm especially not happy about it because of the way that went down. You're going to seriously tell me with all that time before Cena crawled over and made that cover that he couldn't kick out? I was like sitting there waiting for it. And when there wasn't a kick out, I'm like, what? That's it?
Yeah.
You treat Cody like that after he carried the company for a year, became the face of it? Come on now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. My only thought is, I feel like they could redeem this is if they tell the story of, for the rest of the year, Randy looks like to be the next person to come try, and different people come try to take that belt off of Cena to save wrestling, save the company or whatever, and everyone fails. And then on his last appearance of the year, a rematch between him and Cody wins it back.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And I think they introduced the whole countdown thing, and I think it'd be really cool if as he's walking out of the company, you owe me my rematch.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that.
So yeah, I'm trying not to be too judgmental because I don't see the whole picture yet. What story they're trying to tell? So
yeah. Deanna said, "I think Cena's taking that belt with him." It's interesting. Something else that was interesting: some of the clips from The Rock on Pat McAfee's show earlier today. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, it's definitely interesting. We'll say. Doesn't add any clarity to anything. We'll just,
of course not.
All right. So as another part of what we do is we highlight artwork, and we've got some artwork this week. Thank you, Chris, for sending it over. I do have some artwork that I will be sharing from Jesse and John again, but we'll work that into future episodes. But here we go. We're going to skip right over that. I don't have to do that anymore. First one up is a tattoo, and this is awesome.
Yeah, this one's really well done. Yeah, some of them can be a little hit or miss, and this one just looks perfect.
Yeah, the detail in it is just outrageous, man. It's awesome. I like this. I like this style of art too.
Yeah. I love that pic, the one on the right there, like that they captured Bray and his smile so perfectly right there.
Mm-hmm. Really like this one too.
Yeah. I miss the Fiend so much.
Yeah, me too, man. I really love this one.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if we had shared this one before or not, but I was like, well, it's worth taking a second look at if we had.
Even if we have, this is good enough to share again and again. So, yeah, and again, it makes us want a graphic novel even more. Mm-hmm. So, there's that. This is really awesome.
This feels like it would be a cool tattoo too. This looks like that tattoo kind of style artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that too. That's it for the art. Shout out to all of you very talented artists out there. Thank you for sharing your gifts and talents with us. So before we get into some discussion, Chris, I wanted to bring up Rick's question. And I know last time we kind of talked through this a little bit, but Rick asked, why didn't they show up this weekend? What would be your response to that, Chris?
I don't know. I feel like it's just not the right showcase for them. At least not yet. Not where they currently sit, especially with, what way things were left and the last time they appeared and stuff. I don't know. I could just see the argument being made for Mania not being the case for that, especially with they've got so many matches they wanted to spotlight and stuff. I don't. It's be so easy for them to get lost in the shuffle of all that. I mean, some of the matches I feel like already did that because there were just so many matches, and it's hard not to compare and contrast between them and stuff. So, as much as I would have loved to seen them on the Mania stage, I feel like it would have been really easy for them to get lost in it. Whereas I'm hoping we're going to see them this Friday, and I feel like that would be a much better spotlight for them to where they could really get seen and noticed, and they could be the talk of SmackDown easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with Mania, especially like you mentioned, given where they are at the moment, and given that we haven't seen them in so long.
Yeah. I think if they had had time, wouldn't have had that gap and had more time to build up more of a story, then they easily could have been on Mania. I'm really hoping that happens next year, but
yeah,
I got derailed. I think they were waiting for a good time to reset.
Yeah, I agree with that because I mean, think about it. We just had a discussion about Mania. We didn't mention the Charlotte Flair Tiffany Stratton match, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention the women's triple threat.
Oh, that match was amazing.
We didn't mention Becky Lynch returning.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't mention Joe freaking Hendry being the
Uh,
surprise opponent for Randy
amazing.
Orton. That was amazing. But I bring all of that up to say you don't want it to be a situation where it's like all of those things and yeah, the Wyatt Sicks return too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get it. Again, I get it. And I really want to see them too. But I think we also have to understand that if they haven't returned yet, based on the tea leaves, we'll say, because there's not been much out there, but based on the tea leaves, it's because they're working up a plan.
Yeah.
And because they want to do it right.
Yeah.
And I know Chris and I talked about Saturday night's main event in Tampa next month and the significance of the date and where the location. Saturday night's main event could really be a showcase for this group.
Yeah.
Now, they may return on Friday and all will be well and everyone will love it. And, you won't hear any griping and complaining, hopefully. But if that's when they do it, which is a month from now, maybe that's the best way to bring everyone back. Because you also have to think that Alexa's been off screen as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd be shocked if they wait that long, considering how much buzz there is about them and people clamoring for them to return. And it just seems to, especially with the way this week's gone and stuff, like it feels like a perfect time for another, keep the big returns coming. We've had several now and stuff, so we'll see. I'm excited for Friday.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited. So we've been getting a couple things here. And we'll get into the slammies. We've got a couple things here. I will make this a little larger too.
Joe Gacy's been quite active lately.
Yeah, he has. Thank you for sending these over because I did not get a chance to check this out, but he's been pretty active, right?
Yeah, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what these numbers mean. He keeps tweeting old pictures of himself with numbers, and I'm hoping maybe the chat can help us figure it out like we did last time, what these could possibly mean.
Yeah, I found these very interesting. When I was looking at the numbers, I was looking at how he scratched out his face and everything in different. But yeah, these are interesting. Like you get 12, 16, 17 here. So yeah, chat. What do you think this means? What do you think this means? Because Chris, I gotta be honest, I haven't a clue.
Yeah, I've not been able to come up with anything yet.
Yeah, so hopefully let's get your theories and thoughts out there in the chat. Let us know what you think this may mean. Because haven't seen. I haven't been able to watch much of anything other than Mania this weekend, but I haven't been able to see if C Wrestling has put out a video on any of this.
No, he hasn't. He's been too
Okay.
focused on Mania and stuff. I haven't
Okay.
seen anything about any of this.
Yeah.
This was just before Mania,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, looking at the dates, yeah, it was. Jeremy saying, "What did you all think of the Hall of Fame?"
I haven't even gotten to really watch that yet. I was definitely not staying up till 1 a.m. and then until 4 a.m. to watch it. So yeah, that's on my list at some point in the near future when I have time to go back and try and watch the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I've seen clips. I've seen different parts. I haven't sat and watched the whole thing straight through.
Yeah.
But I've seen parts, and I, from what I saw, I thought it was good. Seeing Stone Cold and Bret Hart out there was pretty cool. With Pat being Pat, that was that was cool. So, and I thought the moment with Lex Luger was amazing, and his speech was amazing, and Diamond Dallas Page inducting him, I thought he did a great job too. So, so these are interesting. Deanna saying evolution of characters he's done or big events. That's a good thought. Jeremy saying it was good. Yeah. Well, something else that happened over the weekend, and keep sending in those thoughts about what you think the numbers mean. The Wyatt Sicks, their debut, won a Slammy. Chris, what did you think about this? And I mean, honestly, was there really another choice?
I didn't even catch them ever hearing about the Slammies even happening. I just happened to see, a post about it, just that the Wyatt Sicks won this. I don't even know who else was nominated for this. That's another thing I want to go back and watch at some point. I saw that they do have the whole Slammies up to watch. So, yeah, definitely go back and watch that. But, yeah, I was definitely excited. I don't know who they beat, but I'm glad to see they beat somebody and won a Slammy.
Yeah, me too. And you remember how big the Slammies used to be?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was must watch.
Oh, yeah, it used to be about as big as Hall of Fame used to be.
Yeah. But yeah, good kudos and congratulations. That moment was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Very deserving of winning. Again, I have no idea who they were up against, but I mean, come on, how do you beat that moment? So
yeah. Hoping for maybe one for this year's Slammy soon.
Yeah. Win another one. Win back to back.
WTF moment.
Yeah. Clown saying Owen Hart made a whole gimmick from the
Slammy. I love that when he used to carry around his Slammies.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we've got we'll make this larger too. What do we have here?
I don't know, but I'm definitely interested.
Same. I'm trying to make out the picture in the back, and
they sent in a video response for them winning a Slammy, and it was mostly stuff we'd seen before, except for this. I don't believe is something we had seen before.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing this either. It's anyone in chat, if you have your detective hat on right now, let us know what we're looking at. Because that's
it almost kind of the circles there almost remind me of like LA Knight's glasses. You know how you wear those circle glasses?
Yeah. Is she saying it's new Alexa at the bottom? Clown saying the Matrix ? I think that's have we entered into the Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see the hair now. Is she? It looks like it's the group because it looks like Nikki's right there on the right hand corner. Then Alexa is in front of her. I think that's Huskus in the middle. That looks like Ramlet. Yeah, this is.
And the fact that this was put on there too, and something new, really has me excited for Friday that we're going to see something.
Yeah. The amazing guy says it's just Abby. One of the pictures of Abby with Nightbird logo has a picture of Alexa's face in the bottom right.
Yeah, you guys are seeing a lot more than I am. I just see a whole bunch of black.
Yeah, I think the more you look at it, and the more you look in different spots, like now I'm seeing Howdy in the back right. But again, I think this kind of stuff is meant.
It reminds me of those
that.
old, like, I don't remember what they're called, those things that were like you had to look at them a certain way and you'd see an image. I never could see the image.
Yeah. And this reminds me of when Kyle would tweet out a piece of art or something, and
oh yeah,
we sit there and analyze it.
Hours staring at pictures, just looking for the tiniest little details.
Yeah. And we also have so now I see what the amazing guy is saying, because all I see right here is Abby. But this looks like a distorted version. Well, that looked like a distorted version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is wild. There's just so much. I mean, there's so much that you can interpret.
Yeah.
From these pictures.
I almost even see a little bit of the Fiend mask there in the center. It kind of comes off that way to me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is wild. But I really want to go back to this one now, because it looks like the other picture superimposed, but there have been people added to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Deanna, that's a great Deanna saying it's a visual vortex.
Yeah.
Yes. It really is. So I think at this point, Chris, I think it's safe to say that given some of the things I think we've seen over the last several weeks with tweets or merchandise or whatever the case may be, I think it's safe to say that something is cooking. We just don't know what. We just don't know what and when.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna ask it this way. How, if you were in the creative room with Triple H and he comes to you and he says, "All right, Chris, how would you bring back the Wyatt Sicks?" Is it straight up what they did to Gable and his crew? or is it something different?
I love that idea. Yeah, I feel like it kind of depends on where they want to go with everything. If they're going to have them go back to what they were doing before, or if they want to go a new direction. I kind of feel like they may be wanting to go a new direction now because obviously it seems very apparent that somehow or other Alexa's going to be involved in this. I mean, she disappeared from TV, seeming waiting for them to come back before she comes back. So I kind of feel like that taking in a new direction, maybe that might not work. I don't know. Maybe it still will, but yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe that how would it look if they just all of a sudden came out and Alexa's with them, all walked out together. I mean, I could see that happening. Maybe we see Alexa first, and then they come out and have some kind of interaction with her. That could be cool too. It's hard to say without knowing where they're going to go with the story, but it's definitely it's safe to say at this point it's going to be involving Alexa for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet, just because of how you could tell at the very end that they're very much tied together.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you have to do. Whether whoever you go after, I think is the big question. I mean, do you automatically have them go after a returning Aleister Black?
Yeah, because that could be a cool way to do it. And definitely gets a lot of attention because he's going to garner a lot of attention.
Right. And that's some of my thinking there. Is I think if you tie them to him, and that's his first program back, and that's their first program returning, the things that you can do spinning off of that, I think, are tremendous.
Yeah.
And you have to look at who else could potentially be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have talent on SmackDown right now? Kind of waffling.
Yeah.
Kind of in that same scenario we talked about with Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a way to insert them in this storyline and make it, DC versus Marvel?
Yeah.
So I think that's a way to look at it. Deanna saying, what's the biggest story calls for how they get brought back? I agree. I think, just being honest, they definitely need something big.
Yeah.
I think they need to really make their mark upon their return.
Yeah, they definitely need to make a big impact coming back.
Yeah. The amazing guy saying it was confirmed. By whom, I would ask. It was confirmed. The Wyatt Sicks were supposed to face the Judgment Day at WrestleMania, so I think they do Alexa and Nikki versus Liv and Raquel now.
I heard something about that, and I saw a picture of like a whiteboard or something that had that listed with with some other Mania matches, and I could see that being the case. I'm sure that there's several matches that they may have had penciled in that didn't end up making the cut. I mean, look, we didn't even see the women's U.S. title get defended at Mania, or the Intercontinental title, women's Intercontinental title, or anything like that, or the other men's tag titles. Like, a lot of stuff just didn't make the cut for making on the show. So that doesn't surprise me that they had maybe had an idea and planned to maybe have a match, but it ended up getting cut.
Yeah.
And that just leans more into, well, they'll probably move it to SmackDown then, or, or have them do something.
Yeah.
Only thing about them with Judgment Day now, it doesn't make sense unless something changes with them being on Raw and Wyatt Sicks being on SmackDown.
I was gonna ask that because I'm seeing a couple people talking about them versus the Judgment Day, and that's my question. How do you use the stuff now with Dom and how things are probably gonna go now? You got JD back in the fold. So like, how's all that gonna work? Do you say, okay, we're gonna once they implode, as Deanna just said in the chat, do you separate them out? How do you make that move to make that happen? Would be my question.
We've got a rumored draft coming up soon too, so that could play a part. Some people could be moved around or whatever to make that work. Yeah. But in all reality, I mean, we saw it leading up to WrestleMania. A lot of the top people, I can't even tell you which show they're on anymore. I don't remember because they were on both every week. So I don't even know how much that matters anymore. So I feel like if they can want to do something, they're going to do it, and
So
I just got to say that hopefully, as a result of this, we see the freaking demon come back. My goodness,
me too. That would be amazing. Eric saying, I still agree with Chris. They need to tell the story and how Alexa went back to the Wyatts after turning on.
Yeah,
I agree.
As I harped on for months, I really felt like we needed to see that before we saw anything with Alexa. It feels like we're not going to get that. I have a feeling she's just going to show up with him, but they at least need to do something to tell how that happened. We need some story there. I don't feel like they should just magically end up together with no explanation.
Yeah. The amazing guy saying the Judgment Day have 6 members again now that JD is back. Deanna saying what draft they never last. To your point, Chris. Is she here? This is the question I'm gonna ask. Is she saying apparently Wyatt Sicks versus Judgment Day is still on the card sometime soon? So here's my question. 1, where'd you get that info? And 2, that's fine, but help me figure out how we get there with the current fact that the Judgment Day is on Raw. Like, what would be your way of getting Judgment Day over to SmackDown? Or if we just pull a whoopsie, just kidding, and put the 6 back on Raw, how would you do that? I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, I like the idea of it though. I mean,
I do too.
It looks like the Judgment Day was about to fall apart, and now they're winning gold again. I mean, obviously there's some tension there with Finn, but it seems like he'll probably be the one to leave, and the rest of them will probably stay together. But I like that, and if Alexa's with the Wyatt Sicks now, well, they've got 2 women too, so that lines up with Alexa and Nikki to go against Liv and Raquel and everything. So I like the idea of it. I feel like that would be a great feud for the 6. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. It's just are we gonna just ignore the draft anymore and say that stuff doesn't matter? If so, okay. But personally, I'm at this day and age, I'm fine with that. Yeah, to say anybody can be on any show. I like that idea, but I feel like they need to do something to explain it.
No, I agree with that. I think I would. Is she saying they can move the Wyatt Sicks back to Raw? I would caution you against that. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot going on Raw.
Yeah.
A lot.
SmackDown being 3 hours and having trouble even having enough stuff for it, I feel like that's a way better spot for the Sticks right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on Raw. Becky Lynch is back, and now she's heel.
Yeah.
That's a story.
All the stuff with Seth and Braun Breaker now.
What are you going to do there? Where does Cody fall into all of this? What show is he on? You got the stuff with AJ. I mean, there's just so much stuff that I would be careful not to put them there, because I think it could be very easy where there might be a week or 2 where we don't get anything other than maybe a video.
And I hope we don't go back to that. We'll see it for a little bit, and then they disappear unexplained for a few weeks. They really, especially after everything that's happened these last few months, they need to be heavily featured. And I feel like there's a way better chance than to be heavily featured on SmackDown right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, to that point, you know, they have to gain back momentum.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to. So I
Yeah.
think the only way they do that is exposure. So
Yeah.
Eric saying the women's tag team can fight on any brand, being there's only one title. Also, Liv has taken Alexa out of the last 2 matches they've been in. That's a great point.
Yeah. But you
I
still have to
think,
explain it. Why would Nikki and Alexa all of a sudden join up to go for the women's title? I need a reason. I need a story as to why they would do that. Like I'm fine with that, but I just want to see the story.
yeah, how do we get there? Like it's the destination is fine. We like the destination. It's cool. But how do we get there? I think Deanna bringing up another good point, and don't forget Dom could leave them saying he doesn't need Judgment Day.
Yeah, he could.
He very well could. He very well could. I mean, and you could get a splintering of that group. You could have Dom and Liv and Raquel, maybe Carlito, go their own separate way.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I mean, there's a lot that could happen, but I would love to personally. I'd love to see the Judgment Day against Wyatt Sicks. That was one of the first feuds I think we said we wanted to see when we saw this group kind of find this final form.
Yeah. And if you really want to get crazy, if Finn's going to end up turning on him and leaving the Judgment Day, maybe he sides with the Wyatts.
Now that would be pretty darn good. That'd be really good. The amazing guy saying all they need to say is that Alexa was always part of the Wyatt Six as the co-leader, and then reveal the change since Royal Rumble 23 and explain everything.
No, you can't just say, "Oh, she was magically the co-leader all this time, and we didn't know it." No, that's crap. I need more than that.
You need more meat to the story, is what you're saying.
How do you explain WrestleMania with her and Bray then?
Yeah, because I think at some point to that point, I think you have to address that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't do a beatdown of Alexa or anything like that, has she already paid? And we figure that. I mean, even if they just tell us how she's kind of,
just need something to fill in the gaps.
Just a little bit of story.
Yeah,
a little bit of story.
You can't have her be part of the Wyatt Six with zero story.
Yeah,
or just say, "Oh, she was always a part of them." No, she wasn't. She was with Bray, and then she turned on him. And then what? Where's the missing pieces then? From then till now.
Yeah, I get that. So
I would love to see something like that right there. Say that Howdy, like talk to her or something, and he managed to convince her like he did the rest of them that she was wrong in her ways and that he could make her better and to come join them or something. Fine, that totally makes sense. Like something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I think
related her or something. Like
Deanna saying making her remember who she is a part of it, but I need the story.
Yeah, exactly. To me, you're not doing Bray justice without that. How would Bray have felt about that if she just got thrown in with them with zero explanation of how or why? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think
Bray was all about stories, the greatest storyteller WWE's ever had. He would have had and wanted a story there as to what happened.
Yeah, we've said this numerous times on here, but if it was any other wrestler, any other storyline, I think is completely different.
Yep, exactly.
But when you have a story that's based this much in storytelling
Mm-hmm.
and lore and so many different things, I think, I think you have to have some explanation, and there are creative ways to do it. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to spend weeks
No.
explaining it, but something, I think,
Yeah, one video you could do it.
right, right. So
It
I
just,
think,
the whole point of the Wyatt Six was to honor Bray's legacy and memory, and not doing this the right way would hurt that. I feel like.
yeah, yeah, and I think that might even be a part of the reason why we haven't seen them back yet,
Mm-hmm.
is because they want to honor him,
Yeah,
and
they want to get it right. I feel like,
they
and
want to
that's
get it
great.
right.
And that's why I'm all about it. I'd
Yep.
rather them wait and do it right than rush it and have it not be right. So,
Yep. That was a discussion I've had at work. um, that we can rush and get it done, but when we get the 50 phone calls about why it was messed up,
yeah.
was it really worth it?
And in this day and age of wrestling fan, where everything gets over scrutinized,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We do a lot of armchair quarterbacking when it comes to booking creative and a lot, and again, and we do it here. We have fun fantasy booking, but we realize that it's just that it's fantasy booking.
Yeah, and
What they do isn't going to necessarily match up with what we want them to do.
yeah, it's like, and Clown just posted a great idea. Love that. I would be totally fine if that was what it was. I just need something like that to tell me
Yeah,
that okay.
yeah, yeah. Deanna's saying, I think Hunter wants to do it right to make it more. I think so too. I
Yeah.
think so too. And I think another thing that a lot of people that have smart wrestling minds, way smarter than I would ever hope to be, when it comes to wrestling and booking and everything. I think I think in a if it was an honest moment and they were to sit down across from you and have an honest moment, and you ask them, all right, let's say you think wrestling is on fire right now, the business has never been better,
Mm-hmm.
but don't you get the sense that the business is missing something?
Mm-hmm.
In an honest moment, I think they would say the business is missing a storyline and characters like these.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, I I think that especially now, our society, when it comes to horror movies, way more accepting than we were and than we have been at any point.
Oh yeah, mainstream now.
It's mainstream. Horror is mainstream. Heck, you get jump scares on just about, any show. Even if it's just a drama or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in an honest moment, they would say it's missing some horror, some elements of horror,
Oh yeah,
because my goodness,
yeah.
that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, Bray made that glaringly obvious how awesome that is in wrestling, and now how how big it's missing.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And you need dynamic stories in wrestling. You need dynamic storytellers and characters. And
Yeah,
Clown, that's a great point. Terrifier 3 was the #1 movie in theaters. 10 years ago, it would have been straight to DVD.
oh yeah,
And not just straight to DVD, but in a section in the back
mm-hmm.
of the video store. And it's like, 18 only over here. And it would have been back there. So,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, no, that's I just think that
It used to be hard for a rated R movie to ever be a top box office draw.
yeah, yeah. I mean, shoot, and forget it being like NC-17 or
Hmm.
something like that. And it's really you really limited yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and man, I'm looking forward to whatever's coming though. Like I do think that you all bring up a great point that you need some story
Hmm.
to fill in the gaps. And
Yeah.
to add to that, I'd like some type of story on why they've been away.
Hmm.
Like, what have
Yeah.
they been doing while they've been away?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, they don't even have to mention Bo's injury. They don't. That doesn't
Right.
need to be a real. It'd be a kayfabe story. It'd be
Hmm.
fine. What are they? Yeah, what have they been doing? What have they been working on? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. And think about it. I mean, not that WWE ever completely lacks story or anything, because I don't think that's the case. But the stories can be hit or miss. And man,
Hmm.
like we were talking about earlier with that Seth and Roman and Punk match, like that just showed how great storytelling is in wrestling, because they
Yep.
built up stories from the past 10 years and combined it into this one match, and are now having a new story come out of it. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I I agree, man. I think that this is a story worth being told,
Hmm.
and I'm willing to wait. I know I'm probably very small crowd on that,
Yeah.
but I miss him? Absolutely. Do I want to see
Yeah.
him again soon? Yes,
Mm.
but I want it to be done right.
I have a really good feeling about Friday. I really hope come next Tuesday we've got something awesome to talk about
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
saw on Friday.
A way to fill in the gap. Jeremy saying they have been helping Alexa remember who she is.
Yeah.
It's a great way to fill in that gap.
Hmm.
All right, Chris, man. This was a fun episode. Any final thoughts before we head on out?
Make sure you tune in on Friday. I don't know, like I said, I could be totally wrong, and if I am, I will be the first to admit it. But I
Mhm.
just have a really good feeling about Friday. I don't know. It's just Raw after Mania and SmackDown after Mania. I feel like is the number one times of the year where we get the most returns or debuts or shocking moments like that. So I have a really good feeling about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's stay tuned. Hopefully, next Tuesday when we do this at 6 p.m. Eastern, we will be discussing a return of the
Mm.
Wyatt Six, and I'm sure we'll talk about the return of Alistair Black, Malachi, whatever he's going to go by. I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll discuss that too. So, um, wow. So, thank all of you so much for joining us. Don't forget, folks, drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. And we hope that you subscribe and come back and check us out next Tuesday and uh, throw out some theories and ideas as we chat about everything. And come join us on Thursday. We'll be here on Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern for TNA, our watch along for that. That will be the go home show for Rebellion, which we will also have on the channel on Sunday.
Volume looks really good too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great show. I really do. And we'll get into some predictions on Thursday. We'll also let you know what time we'll be on Sunday. So come join us then. If you're not watching TNA, check it out. Come check it out. It's been really good for a while, for a long while, but it's really, really good right now. So, and speaking of that, NXT tonight, go check it out. It should be good too. And I mean, coming off of Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, and it's another live show in Vegas, so you never know who could show up.
Very true. So, yeah, go check that out tonight. So, me and Chris are going to get out of here, but folks, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you. And yeah, we will see you on the next episode of Fireflies Forever. Take care, everyone.
I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving me insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who entered here. So listen clear, I made